Your objective is to work as a team to reach the next sequence. Score before the timer runs out.
And once again, thank you for the introduction, Animus Lady. Hello there, everybody. Norris here, and I decided to make a commentary for Wolfpack gameplay. I'm crazy, I know. I can hardly manage to do a commentary on a 10-minute video, let alone one that's twice as long. But here I am. I'm doing it. So anyways, yeah, playing Wolfpack. I believe this is the hardened setting. Tried to see if maybe I could get a hardcore session recorded, but it proved to me too much for us, I guess. I think we managed to get to sequence 22, and then we ended up running out of time, so we were just like, screw it, we'll just do hardened. Yeah, hardened, actually not too difficult if you have a basic understanding of what you're supposed to do. Completely screwed up with the ground finish there. But anyways, yeah, bringing you a game of Wolfpack. I believe this is the Boston Harbor map. I don't know, I haven't really played the multiplayer extensively. It's been out for a couple of weeks and I've only maybe gotten a couple of hours of gameplay in. I know that's not necessarily a ridiculously small amount considering how long the game's been out, but considering how much other people have played it, I mean, I've already seen level 2 prestigers. I mean, it's crazy at times how much people sink time into this. I guess I don't have anything better to do. Anyways, yes, haven't played this game too much, but actually played quite a bit of Wolfpack. So I have, I would say, at least a basic understanding of strategies and all that stuff when it comes to this game mode. I'm not entirely sure if this is the case for everybody, but to me it kind of seems like this game mode is actually a little bit easier when you're playing by yourself than you are with a teammate. I don't know, it's just me, but yeah, so basically tips and tricks and strategies and stuff. Just because I'm giving you advice on basically what I think is an efficient way of playing this game mode doesn't mean you have to play it like this. You play it however you want, I don't care. This is just how I do it, this is how I find it to be efficient. So, pretty much what you gotta do is you gotta abuse the crap out of the fact that in these beginning rounds they aren't exactly too noticeable of your actions and all of that stuff. So basically you want to take that opportunity to try and get through each beginning sequence as soon as possible, because the score threshold is lower and you get additional time each and every time you complete a sequence. By the way, I guess I should go over basically the basics of how this game works. Basically, you run around and you kill AI targets. It's pretty much like Training Ground, except the targets are a little bit smarter. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much the objective of the game mode. You have a certain time limit to reach a certain score threshold each sequence, and there are about 25 sequences in total. As you can see on the top, it displays what sequence we are, how close we are to getting to the next sequence, and the amount of time we have left to be able to complete that. Here, this is something that they added for this game mode specifically, and it's synchro kills. Basically, how you activate these is that there will be 2 targets in a blend group and all that. You approach them, you make sure that you have a lock on the 2 different targets. If you're locked onto the same target, it won't work. You have to be locked onto the 2 different targets. As you can see there, once you locked onto both of them and you've both managed to get within range, it will enter this super slow-mo time period in which you have a short-ish amount of time. It's not ridiculous. You still have a fairly decent amount of time to react, in which you have to hit the kill button. If you both do it, then you'll perform a sync kill, and you saw what happened. Something of note about the sync kill is that you can't necessarily control when it activates if you meet the requirements. As soon as you meet all the requirements to perform it, it just automatically activates. And that can be a bit of a hindrance at times, especially if you want to improve the score that you get for the kill, because it still counts all of the regular bonuses that you would get for the kill. Your hidden, your incognito, your focus, and all that. So if you're going to go for a sync kill, and you have a teammate who's already in the blend group and all that stuff, hold off for a bit, make sure that they get all of the bonuses that they'd like to get before you activate it, just to make sure that you can maximize your score, because generally that's what you want to do. You want to maximize your score per kill, yet still make sure that you get your kills in a good pace to make sure that you meet the time requirement. If you spend too much time with one kill, it's going to end up screwing you over in the long run because you'll just run out of time in a future sequence. And that's usually what screws us over, is the fact that we take too much time with these kills because I guess we're a little bit picky in what kind of kills we'd like to get. We'd like to make sure that we at least get some sort of hidden or focus or whatever whenever possible. And in a game mode where, like hardcore, where they will detect you really quickly, and as soon as they do, they will do what they can to defend themselves. That includes trying to stun you, running away, etc., etc. So that's something to watch out for. That's usually what got us screwed over. We took too much time with our kills, couldn't get enough points in a certain amount of time, and we ended up losing because of it. But, yes, basically it's all about being quick and efficient. So I would have to say that a more aggressive style of play is much better suited to this type of game mode. You run as much as possible when you're out of their line of sight, which can get a little bit difficult because these maps are massive, absolutely huge. Depending on what game mode, at least, it'll feel as though they are absolutely gigantic. And in a game mode like Wolfpack, you will really feel how large these maps are. You will really feel that affect you, because it's all about making sure you can close the distance to your target as fast as possible without sort of triggering any chases or anything like that. Unfortunately, I managed to trigger a chase, quote unquote. There aren't really any chases in this. It's more that your detection meter just gets completely drained. You don't start a chase or anything, it'll fill up after a certain period of time and all of that, so that's a little bit convenient. But as I'm sure you can tell, only one target at a time appears on your compass. I'm not entirely sure why they designed it that way. The other additional targets don't even show up as secondary arrows. I'm not sure why they designed it like that, but hey, that's what they decided to go with. So it's a bit of an inconvenience a lot of the time, because a lot of the time it appears as though they tend to spawn the other target in line of sight for when you're trying to rush to your original target. You'll accidentally completely drain your detection meter, which is very unfortunate, because the way the detection meter works is that if you get into reckless and all of that, I think it starts to take twice as long for your detection meter to start refilling, as in it'll refill at half speed. So you really want to make sure that you don't drop into reckless, because it will just take all the more time for it to start filling up again. And you really want to make sure that you get those low profile kills, because those points will eventually add up over time. You will feel a difference. Another thing is that you really want to make sure that you can time your kills with your teammate. If you don't have a teammate, at least make sure that you have poison or something like that, because you really want to make sure that you can get those multi-kills, because I believe a multi-kill is an additional 100 points, and again, those will stack up over time. You will really feel the difference if you can get those multi-kills. So try and get those multi-kills whenever possible, because they will really help. Yeah, so other things. I'm not entirely sure if this is tips on how to perform well with the game mode, but these are some things that I've noticed about the behavior and the game mechanics, at least with this game mode. I'm sure that, as you saw earlier, when we ran through the chase breaker, Missy ran through first, and that closed it. However, I ran through, and that opened them again. I believe there's an ability that you can have, an ability or perk or something like that, in which that happens normally, but we actually didn't have that equipped. The way the chase breakers work in Wolfpack is that if your teammate runs through it and you run through it, it'll open back up again. Although you have to be sprinting in order for it to work. If you walk, it's going to stay closed. I'm not entirely sure if this is the case for all team game modes. I haven't really tested it out that much. I just do know that this is the case for Wolfpack. So here, Missy sort of held off with her approach for a bit. That allowed me to get the focus hidden incognito, etc., etc. Basically maximize the amount of points that we got for the kill, which is good. Very good. You definitely want to be able to get those bonuses whenever possible, those ones that will really add up to your score. Unfortunately, here we get detected. This guy tries to run away. So this is another mechanic that I found a little bit interesting. With targets who are considered cowards or whatever, as you can see in the right-hand side of the screen, as soon as you get a new contract, it displays information about basically what your target is like. If they're going to try and directly confront you, or if they're going to try and run away. I believe that is referred to as... I'm not entirely sure what the one for direct confrontation is, but I know that the one for fleeing is cowardly. They will also tell you how good they are at detecting their pursuers, you basically, and basically what abilities that they have at their disposal that they'll use as soon as they detect you. It can be useful information. Really got to make sure you take advantage of that, because they could really help you figure out what ways you can counteract your target. Something to watch out for in terms of like abilities and all that stuff is Bodyguard. Bodyguard can get very frustrating at times, and it's something that's actually quite commonly used by the NPCs in the later rounds. But I was sort of getting sidetracked there. I was supposed to discuss something about the way targets behave. But yeah, I was saying, if you get a wary target and they try and flee and all of that stuff, if you hit them with throwing knives, you can actually still manage to get, you know, your focus, hiddens, incognitos, and all that stuff. They actually will not try and stun you. Even if you're right in front of them, right next to them, they will not stun you. So if you can, hit them with throwing knives, try and get a focus off of them, because those bonuses really will stack on. But yeah, so here we have a target who's actually got a copy. Towards the later segments of the round, they'll actually start producing copies of themselves. They can get a little bit annoying, but if you have the right abilities, you know, firecrackers, money bomb, or whatever. Not sure why you'd use money bomb when you have firecrackers, but if it's your preference, it's your preference. Use that to discover who the right target is, go for the kill, etc., etc. Here, I think, is where I messed up. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, here's where I messed up. I accidentally poisoned a civilian. That's a little bit unfortunate. But, unfortunately, I'm not able to do anything with the targets just yet, so I went for the revive. Cool thing about the revives is that they add an additional 50 points to your score. So, sort of a tactic I guess you could use would be to sort of time your kills in which your teammate will get stunned, and then you kill them and then revive your teammate, because additional 50 points for almost no time at all. I mean, there really is hardly any negative consequences about it, and, you know, if you can get the points, go for it. Any points you can get without wasting too much time, certainly going to help out with this, because it's all about time management in this one. I'm not sure if I said that before. I don't know, this is the second time that I'm attempting this commentary. I actually managed to get it working the first time, but working as in I didn't fumble around with my words and all that, but unfortunately I guess I had the microphone adjusted wrong, and my voice was booming in that one, so unfortunately that sort of screwed up the quality a little bit. So I'm back, and I'm redoing this just to sort of make things a little bit clearer. I don't kind of want to blow people's eardrums out whenever I try and help them with this stuff. Here, I sort of mess up again. Same basic situation. I end up poisoning an NPC, but I have a reason for it. It was because the compass had completely filled up at that point in time. I figured he was the only one who was close enough to actually have been able to fill up the compass, because as you can see there, I had to get pretty close to my target to be able to completely fill up the compass. I was only a little bit outside the kill range as soon as it filled up, so I sort of reasoned that he was the one who was closest to me at the point, so I figured that he was pretty much the only one who was able to fill up the compass, so I figured that was my target, yada yada yada. In this situation, unfortunately, a little bit too fast with the approach, so we weren't able to get all of the bonuses that we could have. Unfortunately, it happens. It's not going to completely screw you over most of the time, but like I said, get those bonuses whenever possible. They will help. So here, just sort of waiting for Missy to be able to get to her targets because, like I said, multi-kills. But as you can see, unfortunately, the guy had bodyguard, used it on me, and sort of screwed the whole thing up, which is unfortunate. I also hate bodyguard, as I'm sure you can tell. It can really screw up the way things work in this game mode. A lot of the times, just like one bodyguard could have you lose the entire game. They can really set you back a whole lot. So yeah, really be careful of those bodyguards. Most of their abilities, they're pretty straightforward. A lot of enemies use decoy, maybe disguise every now and then, the occasional smoke bomb, although I'm not entirely sure how they programmed or designed smoke bombs for NPCs, but it sort of seems like they're a little bit less effective for the NPCs. The effects aren't exactly as immediate as they are for players, because earlier I actually killed a target through his smoke bomb. Like, even I knew that I killed him through his smoke bomb, and I'm actually surprised that I managed to get the kill. But yes, I'm not entirely sure if they get a dodge animation or not. If they don't, great. That's just another advantage for you to abuse, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, just be sure to watch out for those bodyguards, because those can be the real dampener, I guess, on your performance and all that. So yeah, pretty much the way that the NPC detection works is that if they're looking at you, they're probably going to detect you pretty easily. So it really does make a difference if you can approach them from behind. If they're in a moving blend group, that can set you back though, because they're in a moving blend group, and unless you want to go high profile, it's going to take quite a bit of time for you to be able to catch up to them, since you're both moving in the same direction at about the same speed. I'm not entirely sure if it's been reduced, but it seems to me as though the actual speed for fast walking is just a little bit lower than it was in previous games. Like, you go a little bit slower when you fast walk than you did in the other games. And that could be a little bit frustrating when all you want to do is try and close the distance as soon as possible. But yes, the way that the detection for NPCs work is that if they're looking at you, then they can probably detect you. As you can sort of see, they tend to look behind them a lot, so even if you approach from behind, it may not always work. Although I've tended to notice that if you actually get directly behind them, then they'll actually stop detecting you, so that's something that you could use. There, as you can see, more evidence that if they try and flee, hit them with throwing knives, they won't do anything to try and stun you, so you can use that to get an easy focus or something like that. So basically what you want to do is you want to approach them, get into their blend group, go for the focus, go for the hidden, maximize your points per kill. Variety, I wouldn't necessarily say is a big issue with this one. I know that the greater variety and extreme variety could help out point-wise, but I'm not entirely sure if the point loss that you'd have to get in order to make sure that you can get the different bonuses would help. If they do, sure, go for it, why not? The more bonuses, the better. But pretty much it's just basically the same thing, Make sure you get those hiddens, make sure you add those environmental bonuses onto your kills. Make sure you can get the best approach bonus possible. Add on bonuses like poison and all that stuff, because, like I said, eventually you'll really see the difference in them stacking and all that stuff. So pretty much that's about it. And I guess it's a good thing that I ran out of things to discuss at this point, because we have just reached sequence 25, which, as I previously mentioned, last sequence. Also, sequence 25 is always going to be a scene kill, no matter what. Always going to be 3 targets. Only 2 of them you'll be able to see, but as you can see, there's also a Night Stalker in the blank group. That's the 3rd target, but he doesn't show up because, as you can see with the animation and all that, you're going to end up reserving him for last, I guess. But something interesting about the way scene kills are set up: both players have to be locked on to different targets. If you're locked onto the same target, it will not execute. So that's something that you have to watch out for. But anyways, yeah, we pretty much completed this. Game over, we win, yay. But anyways, yeah, hope you found some of these tips helpful, and hopefully I can maybe discover some more things about the game mode as I continue to play it. At least I hope to continue to play it. I mean, I have a lot of fun with Wolfpack. It's a pretty relaxed game mode, I think. It's not something that you can really rage at too much. I mean, if you get hit with a bodyguard, yeah, that can be infuriating at times, but overall it's a pretty mellow game mode, not something you really get too frustrated over, which is good. I like this game mode. I like Wolfpack. It's very fun. But anyways, yeah, this is Norris. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all later.